Aloha, hoku, ohana. Thank you guys so much for joining me here for your reading. This is a super exciting astral travel, and the first scene consisted of you guys surfing through the multiverse. That's what I call it. And the themes were a chef to begin with. So chefs are all about your inner creativity and also things that you want to create in your life, things that you're trying to cook up during this time. And I saw you guys filtering through infinite fractals and timelines and reality, and you were kind of taking this all in, almost like these blends of these different ingredients, maybe these different combinations of decisions, and how that can lead to a different outcome, a different final product or final result when it comes to the story of your life. And it's like you guys were kind of like chefing this up, right? You were seeing what tastes good, what kind of flavors complemented each other. But yeah, I'm liking all of these references, but you were kind of processing all of this data, and you were seeing what you had this like accustomed taste towards, right? Like this acquired taste. It's almost like there is this new sensory experience that you're opening up to during this time. And what I'm hearing, like you're going through like a palate cleanse. I don't know why there's all these food references coming up right now, but it's almost like there's a palate cleanser that you've gone through so that you can really prepare to taste the new, okay? Now, you guys are also moving through a tunnel at some point. It's interesting because I got the dream tunnel on, but through this tunnel, there was information that was stored that you were accessing. So tunnels in the metaphysical realm do represent a passage from one phase of life into another. And it also represents a journey that you're being called to embark on. I feel like, again, this is a change in direction for a lot of you. It could be a new phase, again, new experiences that you're opening up to, new combinations, new decisions that you're making that are going to lead to, I'm hearing drastically different results. So I'm hearing underestimate the power of each decision and each ingredient, okay, and how that plays into the final product of something, okay? And I feel like this is about a destined outcome because it kind of reminds you of the butterfly effect, or one slight change or variation when it comes to the initial conditions will lead to drastically different outcomes. So there's something about being really intentful, and I feel like you are, in regards to who's in your story right now, what it is that you're doing, what it is that you know that you should be doing that maybe you're not, what it is that you're feeling a calling to do, what it is that you potentially want to do, explore, whatever this is. I just feel like there's almost like this investigative research mode that you're going through. So Scene 2, I call it your ancestors continue to ascend through your own ascension journey, and it's time to shine your light to pull forward your generational lineage. And this scene consisted of you guys hiding underwater. You were hiding from a very specific man, and you were breathing, you were holding your breath underwater, and the water was very clear, but you knew the deeper that you went into the pool, the more distorted other people's vision would become of you, where it's like people, they don't really see you, there's almost like this hidden aspect, like something that's being suppressed deeply. And it does represent like a need for introspection. You were talking about, even in the water, you were talking to somebody telepathically. He was like hiding with you. And I do feel like this is almost your inner child when it comes to how to regulate your nervous system. You were saying that you were learning to master this aspect in all areas of your life. So there is something about you're going in this deep introspective phase, really delving into emotions and understanding what it is that you may feel like you're trying to avoid. Maybe there's a combination, right, that you want to include in the story of your life, but you've been feeling reluctant to do it. Maybe there's fear that's been holding you back from doing it. Maybe you don't know how the final product or result will come out if you incorporate this thing. It's almost like there is this experimentation process that you're going through in order to perfect the recipe. And it also represents, I was saying that I feel like this is around others seeing you in a very particular way. Maybe in the water, there was like a deeper aspect of yourself that you've been compartmentalizing. Maybe it's been a dimension within yourself that you've kind of kept behind closed doors in some way, and you're being invited or summoned to kind of push that out. I'm seeing like the 4th house and 10th house polarity, push that into the world. This is a face that needs to be shown to the world, not just kept to yourself, right? And also the clarity of the water does represent that you are gaining like very clear understandings when it comes to your own emotions right now. And it does represent, again, the spiritual biology of acceptance. And acceptance is one of the key principles when it comes to embodying self-love. So there is something about this is an act of the highest self-love that you can make for yourself, to no longer hide this aspect of self, or no longer like avoid incorporating new combinations in your life in some way, right? That's going to unlock a new sequence of events, new sensory experiences for yourself, new flavors of life, right? And you're no longer limiting your vision to just one single aspect, you know? I'm seeing like weird combinations that you have that people are going to like as well. Where's all this roux? Anyway, and there's something around like not just spicy, right? It's like a widening your palate, not just sweet, but there's almost like this mix, right? Of sweet and spicy, maybe salt and sweet. It's almost like there's this combination that you're being invited to work with. And that out of the box thinking is definitely going to lead to you kind of discovering a new combination within yourself, new techniques, new abilities. I'm hearing that hidden crafts, the mastery of, I'm hearing like where science meets spirituality. So there is almost like this mastery or this different way of doing things that people are going to be really gravitating towards. Okay. Yeah. And it represents some kind of deep introspection where you can see where you've been holding yourself back when it comes to exploring unknown terrain. Maybe you don't know how people are going to respond to this, right? But I'm hearing those who are in resonance, or those who have the palette, right? The palette. And you know what else as well, Spirit showing me right now? Like, you know how your taste buds change? I'm seeing like every 7 years, like you go through a major shift. So it's like you're no longer even the same person. The things that used to taste good to you don't taste good anymore. That's actually the vibe that it gives me. There's almost like this new, again, like flavor for life. And it's like there's shifts that are going on, mindset shifts, right? Sensory shifts, perception shifts, and belief systems. And they're interwoven in the way that you feel about yourself. You know, maybe you're realizing that too much of this thing doesn't make me feel that great. So maybe it's time to start incorporating other things. And these are flavors that have been passed down like generationally, you know, like the flavor of trauma, you know. I'm trying to bring all these lighthearted references to it, but this is something that has been passed down generationally. And within you hold the memory of your ancestors, and maybe it's been fear of, you know, trying these different combinations or being able to expand your taste palette or your higher intuitive faculties and really, you know, exercise that and practice it into everything that you do, instead of compartmentalizing them and thinking that you have to kind of separate these different dimensions of yourself. And it's about you guys stepping into authenticity. That's what it is. And I'm also hearing you're going to be putting people on to a lot of different flavors, things that they wouldn't have thought to even try. Or things that they wouldn't have even thought or considered to do. But I'm hearing like you're kind of doing the outrageous. You want to be seen as outrageous to others, but you're not asking for permission to do so. It's like you're kind of bending the rules of the game. And it represents that you're no longer, again, focusing on the wounded self, where you're needing to give yourself authenticity and acceptance during this time to embrace your true self and no longer have this self-doubt when it comes to being seen, especially as somebody that is different and has something unique to offer, and being able to feel safe within your own authenticity. That's like what is key during this time and is crucial for personal development. And it's going to allow you to move forward without really caring about being judged. You know, knowing that judgment really is linked to a personal history, and it usually is a confession where you may be doing things and exploring new aspects of yourself and new facets of life that other people wouldn't have really considered. And I'm hearing this new expansiveness, right? This courage that you guys have is going to lead to expanded experiences, okay? That other people may, you know, kind of mirror their lack or restrictiveness or rigid in their ways. That's almost how I see it. But there's something about opening your mind during this time and not just being closed-minded to one way of doing things. And no longer adapting yourself in order to be accepted or be loved in some way. No longer wearing these different masks around different people. You know, I'm even seeing some of you, this could be like your friendship groups or whatever this is, but it's like you are the same person no matter where you are. You're authentic to yourself, and you're no longer betraying yourself by feeling like you have to put on a mask when meeting certain people. It's like, no, you are completely integrated and whole within yourself, and that is to be healed. And this is Christ consciousness. It's the birth or transmutation of DNA, right? The full expression of yourself, expanding into the full multidimensionality that you guys are, the multidimensional being, interdimensional being that you are, and no longer being contracted by fear, okay? Fear of being seen, fear of the unknown, fear of how you're going to be received, okay? And being able to bring your generational lineage into a higher octave as you ascend to these higher octave ways of navigating the world through self-love, you know, unconditional love for yourself. And this is like the first within a historical timeline. So again, like, you guys are here to change yourself in the present moment. And as you do that, you also change your generational lineage, right? You change your history, and you also shift the course of your future too, as you're now open to new experiences that you wouldn't have been otherwise if you had not cultivated this strong sense of self-love for yourself. So scene 3, I call it, there is a cosmos within you amongst the chaos, a secret order to what appears to be disorderly. Can you see it? Look again. Okay, there is a secret order to your life. At every point in your life, it was necessary for you at that stage of your evolution journey. Just like where you are right now is so necessary for your point of evolution, okay? So this was actually a really intense scene. This is all fresh from last night, by the way. I was like decoding these this morning. And there was this lady, and she was looking up, watching for bombs in the sky, and there was a bunch of different like buildings that were collapsing around her. And she realized, looking back, that everyone that she had encountered, right, all the houses that she had kind of been in, and she had exit just on time, right? Maybe people that had kicked her out of certain houses, maybe certain things that she wasn't supposed to be, like certain places that she wasn't supposed to be. It's almost like spirit had removed her through one way or another. And she realized in that moment that she was exactly where she needed to be when she needed to be there. It's almost like you guys are again dodging bullets, and it was all divine timing. She was almost seen as the one in this message, and very few had made it to the end because they were not able to kind of surrender to the changes. They were resisting the changes. They stayed in places long past their due date, you know, and it's this fixated, rigid way of being that kept the people in detrimental situations. It really compromised their well-being and harmony, you know. And yeah, it was all divine timing. So she could eventually begin to appreciate the things that she could not see before, right? And within the chaos, she was grateful for the cosmos and the secret order that was now being revealed to her. She had this profound connection with her intuition, and this assisted her with optimal navigation when it comes to releasing, you know, and just surrendering, you know, and that leading to her towards some new transformation in her life. So bombs represent old systems, old ways of navigating the earth that is shifting for you. And you're seeing as each one of these, I'm hearing arrivals and departures as not personal, it's just vibrational. And anything that's not in vibrational alignment with your highest expression, okay, or next highest possible situation or circumstance will begin to collapse, okay, because the foundation is compromised in some way, okay. It's supposed to assist you during a part of your journey, but that's all it is, a part of your journey, okay. So and that destination, I'm hearing that situation was never meant to be your final destination as well. Some of you guys need to know that. What is for you will never pass you by. That was another message that was coming through. Remain flexible and not rigid in your ways, and stay open-minded to different ways, and realize that the obstacles are showing you the way by revealing things that are not, okay. So dreaming of bombs can represent, again, explosive emotions that are coming to the surface. Maybe this is about realizing that maybe initially you guys could have felt angry, and then you're realizing how fear and anger were only sabotaging you by taking these, you know, matrix interactions personally. You know, it's like you're able to become an outsider that now looks within and looks at your whole situation and life on earth as I'm hearing this complex, intricate gameplay experience, okay. And it's like the only way that you can level up is through these experience points that you were cultivating and accumulating through a lot of these interactions, okay. And they were an attempt to wake you up, okay. So buildings collapsing also represent, again, utilizing any destabilization that has happened in your life as your greatest catalyst for transformation. Just think about that thing that you thought that you never really get over, and look at you now. You know, it's that type of energy. You've been able to show yourself time and time again how the obstacle really is the way. I'm sure a lot of you can look back and realize that there were a lot of blessings in disguise that had happened. Any rejection, any experience that you want to eject yourself from is a form of protection, divinely, and redirection, realignment. So be open to the ways that you're being realigned right now, and don't be overwhelmed by this, okay, because again, foundations are compromised. So scene 4, I call it an act of love or a call for love. Ascending to higher frameworks of thinking and accessing the higher mind. This is what this is, okay? So talking about the parts of the brain was something that you guys were doing on a train. That rhymed. But yeah, so you were basically saying that what part of the brain the human accesses really reflects their state of evolution, okay? And again, the parts of the brain that the human accesses is a reflection of this. It determines their true state, okay, of consciousness. Are they operating from the lower self or the higher self, right? The animalistic, instinctual, survival urges, or the higher mind. This is the two distinguished differences here. What filter of perception are they viewing reality through? Through the eyes of survival or the eyes of the soul? Okay, these are two distinct differences. The amygdala responses, right? Or the pineal gland. Or even like the neocortex, right? Where it's like you can be grounded in this experience and your largest filters of perception can be being grounded on this earth, but then also being able to, move in and out of these different dimensions of yourself. You can see life on earth and be in this world, but not also become of this world or consumed by it. It's like you can always come back into that higher mind. It's like you can see a situation playing out and then also look at it from an outsider looking in, okay? And this allows you to anchor down some type of information when it comes to the best way to navigate this experience. Okay, so you guys were shouting this on a plane, not on a train, another rhyme anyway. And this person who was an astrologer came through and he took a seat next to you and he was really admiring like the words that you were saying. And he asked if you'd like to go viral. So some of you, something that you're sharing from like your higher mind, it could be some kind of you being a conduit. It could be just something that's definitely going to have an impact on others. Could be going viral. Also, there was this girl that was processing a lot of information and she said how emotions and intuition are different. Okay, so again, like, are you overly stimulated? I'm hearing like emotionally. Are your emotions clouding your judgment? And not when it comes to judging others or yourself, because that's again an assessment to see if you're safe or not in a situation. It's the survival instinct with judgment. That's a confession of somebody operating in fear. It's more about utilizing your discernment, okay, being able to discern situations and discern what plane of consciousness people are operating on, okay, and understanding them rather than being understood. Because the paradox is the higher levels can always recognize the lower ones because they've embodied all those aspects of self, but the lower ones cannot even see the higher realms, these light beings. That's why even seen as like angels, right? They can be seen as light entities. But anyway, you are navigating this world through your higher mind and your intuition. And they also said that you were finding your most dramatic expression that was in resonance with your highest timeline. So there could be something about doing something out of passion, right? And compassion and from the heart space. And this is an expression of love, okay? And they said to allow this woman to proceed, okay? She was going through some integration process where she was really having to ground and anchor in some higher information, and she was processing this within her emotional body. And they said that her emotions hold a lot of information for her, a lot of data. So they were like, don't interrupt this process or this integration cycle that somebody's going through. And she realized in that moment that she was, by her taking time to make sure that she wasn't just like responding to situations from a fear-based response or conditioned response, right, or reaction, she was actually taking the time to learn the difference between her instinct and intuition. She was making sure that she took the time to process situations within the matrix and going within and responding through her actions, knowing that her actions would always align congruently with her soul's I'm hearing mission at all points in time. The mission is never compromised, okay? And the mission is about how well can you live according to your authenticity, and are they congruent with your values, your morals, your ethics, right? Are they in alignment with the highest possible expression of yourself, or is there a contradiction there? Is there a temptation to move towards these conditioned responses? Because that's easier, right? But there's something about like catching yourself out on that. And this opens up new timelines for yourself of a higher octave and a higher expression. Really intently focusing on what timelines you would prefer. Okay, so in the end, I also saw you guys in a pink dress in an auditorium, and this girl was being pushed outside of her comfort zone. So pink dresses, I love this in the metaphysical realm. It always represents like mysterious energy that you're holding and playfulness at the same time. There is almost like this mysterious, playful creator mode that you're stepping into, and it usually represents people that have been hiding away for a while, that are being invited to come out and kind of show this expression of themselves. So it symbolizes receiving information because you guys were in an auditorium. and being a part of a larger collective experience. And yeah, you guys were like an audience member, but everybody was looking at you, expecting you to go on the stage or wanted to see what it is that you had to say. And even though you were kind of like in the audience, you were trying to find a seat, but there was no, like, it was hard to find one. And it's because you were not supposed to be in the crowd, right? You weren't really supposed to fit in any way, and it still felt like you stood out. So it's like, even if you tried to like compartmentalize or hide or repress these aspects of self, they always come to the surface, even if it's through like small glimpses. But yeah, you cannot hide in the crowd, right? And even when you hide in the crowd, I'm seeing like a spotlight is on you anyway. So you're going to stick out like a sore thumb. So show your sore thumb. And I'm hearing it's from all like the, you know, your green thumb ability. So yeah, you weren't designed to fit in any way. And again, being an audience also shows that you're going to be witnessing this in your life in some way. It's like you're going to be witnessing others' responses to you. And being in a large crowd also represents a major event in your life as well. And in the end, you're in an elevator. So it shows that it's only up from here, essentially. So that was a lot. Let me go ahead and get some themes for these scenes and see what's going on. I want to take a look at the surfing through the multiverse first of all. And let's take a look at these infinite fractals of self that you were filtering through in these infinite timelines as well. Okay, so the multiverse, you have anomaly. Wow. So there is definitely you guys shaking up the algorithm within your life, you know, and this is a really, really apparently congruent energy. I'm just gonna sometimes I'm like, yeah, let's just take a seat back. Okay. It's a very congruent energy when it comes to your soul's initial intentions when first descending onto Earth, okay, or being seeded onto this planet, because you even have golden hour. So it's like, again, it's time to step into your golden hour. You're going to be noticed for this. Let's go ahead and read anomaly. It's something that shouldn't, but it is, you know, it's like you're doing something that seems impossible. And it's almost like something that, again, goes against the grain in some way. It's like you're rewriting the rule book. You're making people realize that there's less rules than they thought, you know. By blending these different mixtures. So let's go ahead and find anomaly. We have let the journey begin. So the originality that defines you. And that's exactly what this was, right? It's like you're demonstrating something through your creations, okay? So the difference brings forth new things, the unseen, and makes the seemingly impossible possible. Understand difference as a gift and not something which marginalizes you. And you know what I'm seeing? This happens like, you know what it is? You're creating for creation's sake. That's the energy that's coming through. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I was getting, let me find this. I was reading this last night. It was like old notes in my diary, in one of my diaries. And I wrote this down so I could share it. Oh yeah, this is it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you're not creating for the end product, but for the purpose of excitement and the purpose of like creating for creation's sake. This is like a quest that you may feel like has been given to you in some ways, or a quest that you're kind of like initiating for yourself. And the answers come to you through the stillness and being present with your soul. And it feels like you're receiving a gift through this creation, where it's like, this reminds me of the reading, because this came out in the reading that we did around you're going to surprise everyone, including yourself. And this is the vibe that I get. It's like you're coming up with this new concoction or combination, and it's this beautiful blend of your highest multidimensional sophisticated aspects of self really experiencing life on Earth, and merging with your physical aspects of self, right? And the tangible things that you create on Earth. But there's like this otherworldly knowing where you're applying an aspect of yourself that has no limits to what other people may perceive as like perceived limitations. And I said this is a healing experience that puts you in alignment with your true purpose by doing this thing differently. And I said jump in the river even if you don't know where it's taking you, because again, a lot of you are blending these different things into your experience, but you don't necessarily know where it's taking you. And then I said that you cannot beat a river into submission, which means that you cannot forcefully overcome a powerful natural force by fighting against it. Instead, you must adapt to the flow and utilize its power to your advantage, essentially surrendering to its current and working with it and not against it. And then I said that all rivers lead to the ocean, so there is no wrong river that you can take. Like all roads lead back to infinite potential, right? All roads lead back to source. All roads lead back home. So there is something about with this energy. It's like I'm seeing somebody recreate something so many times and it's different. They're applying new things that they didn't do before. It's like you're feeding new things into the system, you know, and there's no like one fixed way of doing things. And that's why I'm hearing like you're expanding your neural network pathways during this time, and your neurological pathways extend far beyond just a linear perception of time. It's like, again, you're pulling in new hidden inspiration, okay, from this wellspring of knowledge that extends far beyond the human experience. And it's like you're applying this to Earth, and there's something around you or what it is that you do it's different, you know. It's almost like this supernatural ability that you have here. And what else? I said this is a turning point for you guys, as a fated portal for change. It could be an opportunity or collaboration. And I said to honor readjustments. So honor readjustments in your path. Maybe your goal is to create something different, right, for yourself. And honor as many readjustments that's needed. Maybe this is about the plan, the strategy that's needed, but don't change the end goal, okay, to create something new, to create something, the person that you want to create yourself to be. And I wrote that you're also on this personal quest, and it's to transcend like something from like the human experience to like this otherworldly experience. I feel like you're kind of giving people a glimpse into this otherworldly experience. It's like, again, you can kind of lift the human condition and reveal this new sensory experience, this otherworldly experience. It reminds me of the looking glass reading that we did around this different experience around this Michelin star restaurant, and he was doing something that other people may laugh at, and it kind of reminds me of again, even in the emerald tablets, it's like allow make the path, something about the path. I said honoring cycles. Let me see if I can find it. The seeker. Make it hard for the seeker to tread, thus will the weak and the wavering be rejected. Thus will the secrets be hidden and guarded, preserve them and hide them in symbols, so that the profound may laugh and denounce. Bring me not one who's lacking in wisdom, impure in heart, and weak in his purpose, right? So it's like you guys are strong in your purpose, right? You know that this is something that you're being called and summoned to do in some way, to jump into this river of change, and you're whole in your wisdom and you're pure in your heart, and that will lead you exactly where it is that you need to go. That's like the message that's coming through here. So anyway, let's go ahead and continue. But yeah, that's a really interesting energy. It's like you're having to trust where the river's taking you right now. It's like there's something around you guys being in a flow state with this. Like you're going to end up exactly where you need to be. And I finished writing these notes last night at 2222. All right. So again, it's like there's this balance that's going on. There's this as above, so below aspect where you can bring again and anchor these otherworldly qualities onto Earth. So, and into everything that you do. It's like infinite potential expresses itself through you and as you. So no one is superior, inferior to another, but we are all unique, right? And incomparable. At the same time, as word, verb, and sound coexist in a single space. Okay, it's not about copy and paste mentality. It's about focusing on, again, something that is different, something that's considered abnormal by others. And this is an anomaly, which is a deviation from what is considered to be normal or what is to be foreseeable. It's almost like you're bringing something that is unforeseen. It's like, again, you're drawing inspiration from hidden sources in some way. So it's an action portal, and I love it because it's all about the theme today, which is about celebrating and honoring your originality. Okay, so you could be kind of filtering through the infinite fractals of yourself and how you're wanting to do that and what it is that you're wanting to do that in. But you guys are an anomaly. Okay, you guys are a glitch within the matrix, and you're helping people realize that there's less rules than you think there are. There really is. And it says, I will not be who you want me to be, because I would then stop being who I am. And I will not stop being who I am for who you want me to be. Don't allow it. Know who you are, honey. Know who you are and come back to yourself. Because if you don't know who you are, the world will try to tell you who you are. Don't allow the illusion to shape you. Life is an illusion. And the shape is up to you. However it is that you want to mold this life. However it is that you want to mold yourself to be. Everything is malleable, okay? Everything is vibrating, a super quantum position. Everything is super malleable. That's what I'll say. And it's ever changing. There's not one fixated way of doing things. Don't allow people to make you believe that. You can change. You can change overnight. You wake up every day and you're a new person. Don't allow anyone else to tell you otherwise, okay? Okay, let's go ahead and see what the theme is around this then. Let's get a mirrored deck for this. We had the Mystic there, that was the last card. So again, it's almost like the mysterious ways of doing things here. Right. We have the Cosmic Tree, wow, and the Hermit. I love this because, yeah, I love the Hermit. I love the Hermit. You know, it's all about 9, which is, you know, the year that we're in right now. And he does something where he lifts the human veil. It's almost like he demonstrates things to people from this otherworldly knowledge, right? All the knowledge that he's accumulated from this life and the ones that came before, right? And I'm hearing also like the parallel lives that he pulls in this information from. So let's go ahead and find this. I'm also hearing like, again, this book of knowledge that you have internally. Let's see. Yeah, and they're hidden in codes as well. Okay, let's find the Hermit. Okay, the Hermit. Searching within, solitude, self-expression, and reaffirming. The Hermit and the Cosmic Tree represent solitude for inner truth. The Hermit does not retreat into the woods without the expectation of self-exploration. When a vision of the Cosmic Tree comes to the Hermit, they are met with the understanding of the greatness of existence. If you cannot find the answers you have been looking for, look within. And that's exactly what this is. I feel like there is some kind of information that you guys are receiving. And again, this is like a network. You know, it's like, there is this network. Kind of reminds me of the cilia. There is this network that you have, and not just to the physical realm, but extends far into an intangible world. And you're able to move through this. It's like, again, there is this strong correspondence between the two worlds and how you demonstrate your otherworldly qualities in this reality with the Cosmic Tree. And it's showing you a different way. So showing you a very different way. Let's see with the Hermit. And you could be a mystery to others when it comes to what is your source. And it's like, well, you know, it's source, it's within. Infinite potential just expresses itself through me and as me. That's what I'm seeing. And I'm seeing, you know what I was seeing earlier? I was seeing like a chef, right? And they make some kind of combination that they never would have thought would have worked. And then they taste it and it's like, they're not just going to surprise everyone else when they put this out onto display. Some of you, again, this could be like a product. It could be a service. It could just be something that you're here like demonstrating in this world. But you're surprising yourself. You know, it's like you're pleasantly surprised by this culmination that's happened. Yeah. And some of you, you're going on a journey to collect these different ingredients as well. There's something about you're going on a journey to collect these different ingredients. And I'm seeing like people are like, what's your recipe book, you know? And it's something that can't be created. It's not a copy and paste. It kind of reminds you of like when you go to restaurants and they're like, our hidden sauce or our hidden, you know, the secret ingredient. You know, that's almost what I'm seeing. It's like you have this secret ingredient, but it's sourced from not this planet. They're like, where can you source this from, right? It's like, it's I don't know, it's it's from another connection. That's what I'll tell you. That's almost the vibe that I'm getting here. Yeah, it can't be replicated, and that's why you're an anomaly. It's something that you're doing. Maybe some of you are like, damn, this actually works, right? This is like for me. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at where was it? I don't even know what was the scene? Okay, scene. Oh, by the way, when I woke up to write a lot of these notes, it was 4:44 a.m. So that you're being definitely protected on this path. And this is something that you're mastering in the physical realm, all right? It's something that's like forming structure now. Let's take a look at the scene 2 then when it comes to introspection. We have stratosphere, and then we also have antimatter. So again, this is something that is like non-physical. I'm hearing non-visible as well to the human eye. And then you have stellar stream. So again, there's like this stream line or network, okay, that you have. And then you have multiverse even behind that. So it's like otherworldly knowledge that you possess. It reminds me of the reading that we did around like something around like other worlds. I don't remember what I channeled for that one. It was something around like you may be in this world, but you're not of this world, and everybody knows it, right? Everybody knows it. Do something that you do. All right, let's see. It kind of reminds me of like a Einstein or Nikola Tesla energy, but antimatter. Okay, so antimatter reflects the opposite of manifestation in a three-dimensional plane. So again, you're doing something that goes against the grain, and it says a lack of concretion in a particular event. So it's like, again, it's like things are revealing itself to you as you walk the path. Like as you begin to walk the path begins to unfold. It's like, again, you become a mystery even to yourself. And I'm hearing like the best way to confuse your enemies is to confuse yourself. And I feel like you don't even know what to expect with it. And I feel like because you're holding no expectations on yourself, it really allows you to go into this different kind of discovery mode, okay, where it's like you can accept any outcome. Because again, it's like you had no expectations. How can you be disappointed by the outcome? And the contact between antimatter and matter creates transformation, like two mystical lovers. When matter and antimatter come together, they cancel each other out and generate energy. Therefore, equilibrium is the excellent alchemical ally for touching your dreams with your hands. The lack of concretion requires now delving into the tangible. And that's what I see you guys doing, right? It's like antimatter, your connection to the non-physical, and this lack of concretion, and allowing yourself to just become a conduit. I just feel like this happens through you, you know? It's like this happens through you. Again, I'm seeing like artistry energy where you're like channeling this, right? It's like literally the divine flows through you and connects to the divine within others. Let's go ahead and take a look at stratosphere there as well. Stratosphere. Water, oxygen, and life. If a seed falls onto a tarmac, even though it's a seed, its surroundings will not be able to germinate. But if the seed falls on fertile soil, get ready to see it grow. Your seed is on fertile soil, which is a beautiful energy. And I feel like, again, your mind is a garden, your thoughts are seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. How can you create that fertile environment for yourself, right? It's about loving yourself through the changes and not expecting anything of yourself. You know, that's what this is. These are just acts of love, because again, it's not about the final outcome. You're not holding expectations on the final outcome. It's more about the art of creation, right? For creation's sake, because you are a natural creator and you're returning back to that state. So life can only be only develop in this layer of the atmosphere. So it's a habitual zone. It basically talks about the environment conditions are favorable for you during this time. Enjoy the magic of being aligned with the space that provides you sowing fertile conditions. So again, it's like you guys are being given, I'm hearing the free range, like right now it's free range. You know what it is? It kind of reminds me of, I don't know if anyone remembers in like school or, you know, whatever it is, but you have these different like subject matters or these different, I remember in art class, because I studied art and design, and I remember my favorite courses that we would do were when we had free range over a topic. Like it could be, I remember this was like over a decade ago, and we got to choose a topic, right? And even back then I was like, I'm doing the zodiacs. I knew it. Like even then I was drawing the constellations. I was doing like portraits of each of the archetypal forms of the 12 zodiac wheels, and I did my zodiac as like the final piece, and that was like the most passionate one that I did, right? It's like I excelled in that because I was passionate about the whole creative process. I didn't know what the end result was going to look like, but there is some kind of unfoldment. It's almost like source is saying it's free range. Hey, life is what you want it to be. You get to decide, what do you want this project to be? What do you want it to be? It's free range. It kind of reminds me of when somebody can freestyle something, you know, that's like the most exciting thing, even in hairdressing, where they're like, you know, just do what you want, I trust you. It's almost like the ego is telling that to the soul right now when it comes to your relationship to yourself. It's almost like, you know what? I'm not going to repress my soul's desires. You lead the way. It's like that energy again, Christ consciousness to lead the way, right? We're doing something that's different in the ancestral historical books. It's like we're doing something that there is no context for this. There is no reference point. It's something that hasn't been done before. And this is the greatest invention you're ever going to see. Wow, how beautiful. Wow. And it's like you're going to see what you're really capable of, because it's free range. You know, that's what this is. It kind of reminds me of even like sometimes the most beautiful dances happen through freestyle. It's like there's these two unfamiliar partners that are made up of one of the same, right? Like two mystical lovers with antimatter. And it kind of reminds me of that. There's like this stellar stream or network that you're connected to, where sometimes you see the best final products in surrendering to that creation process. And I feel like this is about surrendering to the ways that you're going to blossom into your full potential. And that's kind of unknown. And that's something that you're being asked to kind of open up to, you know, open up to what that could be, not just one way of being. And I'm seeing like, even if there's like a hypothesis, sometimes you go on to do science experiments and there's like a predicted outcome, but there's something around it goes, it just takes you somewhere else. You know, it's like you're being taken somewhere else and it's not within the guidelines. That's what I'm seeing. It's like you're coloring outside of the lines, outside of the boxes. They said you had to color it and you're filling it with patterns. It's like you're doing something different. Okay, we have the 7 of lotuses. Okay, the 7 of chalices, which is the 7 of cups energy. I quite like this interpretation. I don't know what it is in the mirrored book, so let's go ahead and see. I'm sure it's beautiful. 7 of chalices, let's see. Okay, dwelling in fantasy, choices and daydreaming, right? So there is something about, again, kind of like your imagination runs wild. Look at all the things that your imagination can do. They're giving you previews in potential life's upcomings, right? So a snake slithers around an arrangement of chalices as 2 frogs hide in underwater grass, right? The 7 of chalices and lotuses is a card of deceptive choices. Your search for purpose had led you to daydream about future fantasies. The possibilities are endless and they've overwhelmed you with options, but in reality you have already made the choice. Wake up, it's time to pick. So some of you, again, it's time to pick the ingredients. It's like you've researched different things, you've studied different things. It's time to take action towards it. And it's like, yeah, there is no, you know how life is kind of like this analogy. It's kind of like there is no right or wrong in art. There really isn't. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and success is what you make it, right? It's your personal definition of success and what success is to you on a soul level. That's what it is. Like, there is no right or wrong in this. There is no right or wrong path or option or river. They all lead back home. So that really takes the pressure off, doesn't it? You know, it's like it really, all right, let's surrender to the flow of the river, you know? Not try to swim against it now because something's not going according to plan. Maybe there's going to be never a mistake, only a happy ending. That's what it gives me. Happy accidents. I feel like that's what you're going through right now. There is no mistake in what it is that you're doing. There is going to be a happy accident. Something that couldn't have occurred otherwise. It's like you're stumbling upon some kind of secret formula. Wow. What are you doing, I wonder? What are you doing? Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the last scene. This scene, what did I call it? I called it number 3, which is there is a cosmos amongst the chaos. Okay, and a secret order to what appears to be disorderly. This scene is relativity. Okay, E equals mc squared. So relativity in this scene, again, it kind of gives me an energy. Let me go ahead and pull a card for this one. It kind of gives me an energy of, again, can you see it? Look again. Where it may appear like in the chaos, something is happening. It's taking so long, you know, to like cultivate. You may feel like that. But there is like a secret order to this, what appears to be disorderly here. And this is going to be relative, like the way that you experience the chaos. If you can choose to see chaos or you can choose to see a cosmos, you can choose to feel overwhelmed by the disorder, or you can choose to feel empowered by the secret order of your life right now and how it's unfolding. You can choose to feel empowered instead of overpowered. That's what I'm seeing. Are you going to see chaos and disorder and feel overpowered in your life? Or are you going to feel empowered by a secret order within the cosmos? Because that perception shift with relativity is going to, look at this, that perception shift with relativity is going to shift the way that you experience it. Now we have the magician and the crow. How beautiful. Again, you guys are like this magician at his what are they at? They're like, again, like different altars, like cauldrons. I don't know what he's doing, but he's doing something. Okay. I don't know what you're doing, but you're doing something clearly. Let's go and take a look at the magician here. There's something that you're cooking up, right, with these different alchemical processes. You're turning what seems to appear to be leaden, right, things aren't going to plan, into the biggest golden opportunity you've ever seen. That's actually what this is. So I feel like, again, you're going to surprise everyone, including yourself. This is almost like a part 2 of it. It really reminds me of that reading. Right, let's go and take a look at the magician. Let's see. Okay, it's a weird perfect fit, you know? So force of creation, manifestation, willpower, and skilled, all right? This is like a hidden mastery that you have. So the crow and the magician teach us how to turn energy into a force of creation. As the crow shimmers in the moon of the magician, we are reminded of the beauty that is around us and the creative nature of human life. We are born with a desire to create. That desire serves as an opposition to destruction and is what sets us apart. Use your skills to manifest your power. Again, a lot of you utilize your skills. You have them. And I feel like hidden ones are literally going to reveal themselves to you. That's literally what I'm seeing there, okay? Some of you, this could be with the 2 of Pentacles here at the base. It could be like a side hustle that you want to turn into a career, or maybe like something on the side that you're doing, or like a passion project or something of this nature. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the last scene now. And I believe this one was about authenticity in the auditorium. This is ascending to higher frameworks of thinking. Okay, this is about the train and going viral for something. Okay, something where the spotlight is on you. Okay, all right, what's this energy around? We're flipped. Aurora Polaris. Okay, Aurora Polaris is about the secret, all right, the secret that you guys hold and some kind of magic unfolding in your life. And it's something that everybody gets to witness. And with the geomagnetic storm, like, you cannot avoid this. Like, you cannot avoid being noticed for this thing. You cannot be, you're not designed to fit in. You have a mind, this higher mind, that's working through you. Okay, let's see. And we have the 5 of Lotuses. Yeah, this may make you feel like you don't fit in necessarily, and that you're being invited to see the cup as half full rather than the cup as half empty. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. Okay, let's go ahead and read 5 of Lotuses. Now again, Aurora Polaris basically talks about this magical, you basically are the magic. The magic cannot leave you when you are it. Anything that seems like it hasn't worked out with those spilt 3 cups, okay, that's for a reason. All right, you still have 2 cups there, and these 2 cups are all you need. Some of you, again, less is more with this situation. That's almost what it gives me. Let's go and take a look at the 5 of Chalices with this interpretation. It says disappointment, failure, loss, self-pity. And you don't realize there are no mistakes, honey. There are no mistakes. There's only happy accidents. You know, I remember I said that one day. I locked and loaded way heavier on leg press, and it was an accident, right? But it wasn't an accident. It was like a happy accident. And I didn't even know I was capable of that. You know, I didn't even know I was capable of lifting that heavy until I looked back after 2 sets, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, I've been pulling that much weight. That's literally what I feel like. You're gonna have one of those moments where it's like you're about to double, it's like you're double looking, you're like, wait, I did that? Like, that came from me? That's always the vibe that I get. Or like, again, you're tasting it, you're like, hold on a minute. Again, let's have a palate cleanser, let's try again. Like, damn, that's actually really good, right? It kind of gives me that energy where it's like, okay, no, right, we're onto something here, let her cook, I'm gonna let you guys cook with whatever it is that you're doing, right? Whatever it is, you're chefing something up. Okay, so we see a nude woman in the water disappear and reappear as a submerged lotus flower. The 6s, this is 6. 5, 2, disappointment, failure. 2 boats thrash around. Again, a lot of you, this is going to lead to a new chapter in your life, the fact that I started reading 6. 2 boats thrash around in the turbulent water while simultaneously a figure tosses chalices off a cliff. The 5 of chalices and lotuses ebb with disappointment. Where you are now is not where you were intended to be, right? But that's not a bad thing here. Okay, clearly there's a redirection that's going on with you. This doesn't mean that you can't get there one day. Shed what is no longer serving you, and don't sit in self-pity for too long. And I feel like, again, you're finding out that what feels like an initial setback ends up being your biggest success, okay? And you're going to be finding peace with this. It's almost like once you accept things for as they are, it's like you can give yourself compassion to begin to, it's almost like you don't want something, not that it goes wrong, but it's almost like you mess up with something. I'm seeing like somebody draw something and it didn't turn out like how they had intended it, but then they end up doing something else and it's like this complete different abstract concept. That's almost what I get with you guys. Like you are an abstract concept and people will interpret it however, like they will interpret you based on like, I'm hearing the interpretation that they have on themselves, how intricate or complex they allow themselves to be, you know? But this also can show, again, acceptance, okay, that you guys are going to have about a situation, even though it may not be what you hoped for, okay? I feel like there's something that's going to turn out better than you hoped. There is like a secret magic, okay, to any redirection, anything that you feel like hasn't worked. It's like there is a complete success after what appears to be like a setback. And this is what I'm seeing, like someone on MasterChef, right? One of these cooking shows. And then they end up, yeah, that's what, it reminds me of this scene where everybody was asking for butter for this woman. And this first girl, she was like, no, I'm not giving her my butter, right? Because that's supposed to be an opponent. And then this man, he asked the man and the man was like, you know what? Yeah, take the butter. Even though that was like, they were competing for, I think, like $1 million or something. And then he was like, you know what, at least I can go to sleep at night, you know, knowing that I did something out of integrity. And he actually ended up winning. That's almost the moment that I'm seeing, or it's like you think that you don't have enough ingredients for something, you end up making what it is that you can with what it is that you have. And oh my goodness, it ends up, it's like the judges taste it, you know, there's something around that. And it's like, how did you do that? And you're like, you know what? I kind of shot myself with this one. Like, that's almost, it's like you're about to surprise yourself with this one. That's literally the vibe that it's giving me. Anyway, guys, I feel like I've been talking enough. Let's go ahead and take a look at an angel number message. 1212. Okay, this says, within you are shadows of dark and beams of light. Again, the spark is being ignited within you. Be ready to illuminate the path ahead. I fully embrace who I am and allow change where is needed, and trust the duality that is within you. Okay, so trust that dual nature. You have 143 here at the base, preparation. Life is filled with phases. The whisper is telling you to prepare for the unexpected and allow change to pass through with a sense of peace. Financial and creative opportunities are upon you. Okay, so I'm gonna love and leave you guys right there. I'm gonna leave you, let you cook, all right? And yeah, let me know what you're cooking down below if you guys feel like you care to share. I'm gonna love and leave you right there. Again, we got this rhyming going on today. I don't know what's going on, but personal reading details are also down below. If you're not already subscribed to this channel or want to stick around for future reads, do consider subscribing. We'd love to have you around. Join the Discord if you want to join the Discord. We have a Discord server. It's also going to be down below. And until next time, guys, bye.